There's a yearning to believe that Enron and other less sensational ethical collapses can be blamed on a few bad apples. That by putting Lay and Skilling away and a handful of others, we've put away the business ethics crisis along with them. There's also a yearning to believe that the crisis can be solved by something as simple and superficial as passing new laws. Laws prohibiting unethical business practices invariably fail. Our response has been to pass even more detailed laws trying to close the elusive loopholes. These fail too. We keep trying more of the same medicine, as if these failures could not mean that we have the wrong medicine, but rather could only mean that we just haven't made the dosage strong enough yet. Well, it is the wrong medicine. At least as an out-and-out cure, it's the wrong medicine, for several basic reasons. First, law is a clumsy tool. I'm sorry, but it's just a crude and clumsy tool for dealing with human behavior. Laws have to have a certain rigidity. They deal poorly with complexity. Human ingenuity, uncoupled from conscience, will always be more agile and dynamic than law. To expect law to win this race is foolish. Second, even if the law could somehow stay ahead of the human knack for evading regulation, it still would not be effective as the main ethical solution, in my view. Law is based on coercion. We don't see that very often. Rarely is the kid glove removed and the mailed fist revealed. Contracts go on every day, commercial dealings go on every day, and no guns are drawn to enforce them. And the reason for that is that everybody absolutely knows that guns will be drawn to enforce them if people try to flout the law. The legal system is based on coercion, and whatever modest success the law has in elevating the level of ethics comes at the price of validating and reinforcing a power-based way of relating. Do this at the point of a gun. Perhaps a very polite gun, perhaps a very polite threat, perhaps even just a veiled threat, or no need to make any threat at all if the system of coercion is really, really working well. If society relates to its members on the basis of that kind of power dealing, however civil and polite it is, its members will internalize that message and they will reciprocate. Third, when we fill up the entire space of ethics with law, we unwittingly reinforce a toxic message about our community and about our culture, that the only ethics of any relevance in business are those that are embodied in laws with serious criminal and civil consequences. Ironically, this is the very cultural message that fostered widespread Enron-like misconduct in the first place. The conflation of ethics with law assures that law will not be a floor for ethical behavior, but instead a ceiling. Fourth, the proliferation of laws as the only ethical tool also reinforces a toxic message about our inner selves, that we are thoroughly wayward and bad by nature. Creatures whose baser instincts will run away with them unless they are tightly corralled. In a landmark legal essay a little over a century ago, Oliver Wendell Holmes observed, "If you want to know the law and nothing else, you must look at it as a bad man who cares only for the material consequences which such knowledge enables him to predict, not as a good one who finds his reasons for conduct in the vaguer sanctions of conscience. There's a basic principle in child development that I learned concerning how children internalize their experience. It's captured by the phrase, "I am as I am treated." If we treat ourselves as if we are bad people, that will tend to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we treat ourselves as people who will only do what's right if threatened with imprisonment, that will tend to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. One of my favorite law professors once wrote, an odd thing for a law professor to write, but here it is: "The better the society, the less law there will be. In heaven, there will be no law, and the lion will lie down with the lamb. The worse the society," he said, "the more law there will be. In hell, there will be nothing but law. And due process will be meticulously observed." This religious metaphor is apt, I think. We have made of our proliferant laws a religion. The religious word I would suggest for this obsessiveness is lexolatry. It is a religion that offers no real salvation, only illusions. All hat and no cattle. This brings us to the point, I think, where we can leave law behind as a deeply flawed panacea for the ethical crisis in the business world, and turn instead to what? My law professor's epigram suggests that the solution may have something to do with church. I believe it does. And that is where we will pick up this thread on Sunday morning.